Pull up a chair and buckle up. It's the Original Strength BodCast.
Hey guys, and welcome to this week's edition of the Original Strength Podcast. Before we get started with today's Q&A, I would like to tell you something again that brings me joy, and maybe it'll bring you joy too. This one you've probably heard before. It's really kind of silly and simple. Crawling on your hands and knees, on my hands and knees. I don't crawl on your hands and knees, but crawling on my hands and knees brings me a lot of joy. So every morning for at least 10 minutes, I will crawl on my hands and knees before I go train. And, when I first got into crawling, I was always trying to make it harder. And, I wanted to do the elevated crawling or leopard crawling, Spider-Man crawling. And I loved it. It was cool, and it felt strong. But there's just something good there's something feel good about crawling on your hands and knees, especially when you do it for enjoyment. So I'm not just crawling to check a box anymore. I'm crawling for the enjoyment of the crawling. Now, again, I have a soft floor where I do my crawling, so I'm not crawling on a hard floor, so it causes no discomfort. But what it does cause is imagination and just the pure joy of moving. And like, I get curious about how slow can I move, or can I coordinate, when my hand and feet, when they lift off the ground, when they touch the ground, like what does it feel like when the transition of the body weight happens from the opposing limbs as the two come on the ground but the other two lift off the ground. Anyway, I love it. It feels good. So my heartfelt recommendation for you is if you haven't spent any time exploring, just crawling around on your hands and knees, I know it sounds ridiculous, but I think you'll love it, especially if you just get curious about it. But you start to experience just the benefits of it. Mental acuity, just overall emotional well-being, and then physical well-being. It ties your body together. It's great for your brain. It's great for your emotions. And it's just good for your whole body. So that's my simple, silly pleasure of the week. I also have a correction to make. Last week on the podcast, I said, that June was going to be an easy month because in May, I was getting to do Summer Strong 18 with Sorinex, and then I was going to be flying to Japan, and I said I was going to be resting in June. I was wrong. Turns out we have workshops in Las Vegas. I'll be with Dan John doing the coffee talk with Dan and Tim, answering questions about strength training and all things related. And there'll be other workshops like Pressing Reset, Pro Reset. Dan's going to do his ABCs and Fs of training, which he's just a brilliant guy. I love hanging around Dan. So that's going on in June, and my new book comes out, or it's really a rewrite of Pressing Reset. It was Pressing Reset Original Strength Reloaded. This book will be the rewrite of that because, we wrote that book, I don't know how many years ago, almost 8. Learned a lot since then, and I think I'm hoping I can actually articulate what it is to press reset so much better now. So in the hope of that, I've rewritten Pressing Reset, and it's going to be called Pressing Reset Original Strength Forever. And that comes out in June, so I'm really excited about that. I hope you'll check it out, especially if you've still been trying, curious about what does it mean to press reset and to live in your design. This will answer those questions. There's also some workouts in the book for those of you that just want to get down to business. All right, so today, our Q&A. And this one is a long question, but I have to kind of go through the whole thing to give you all the context for it. So I have a question for the podcast, if you don't mind. For context, I listened to episode 206, BodCast episode 206, hearing about your sprinting protocols, noting especially that you sprinted 3 times a week. Shortly after, I reviewed one of your videos about 5 years ago, sprinting without sprinting, and noted that you said you were only sprinting 1 to 2 times a week, often every other week. So my question is, and this is related, when and why did you decide to apparently increase the amount of sprinting that you do? What did it replace for you in your routine, and what benefits have you received? In short, I am interested to hear your thoughts on how you've come to trust sprinting as such a key part of your weekly training and what sprinting has done for you as you have apparently been focusing on it more in the recent years. I would also be curious as to hear what protocols you would recommend for a middle-aged man to ramp up his sprinting regularly. This question came from Brandon. Brandon, thank you for the question. So I think I've tried to say this before, but I just flow in and out of seasons. I go through seasons. Like I went through a season where I just crawled. My strength training consisted of, we just talked about crawling. It consisted only of crawling, elevated crawling for a year. And I would crawl on my hands and feet, and sometimes I would be dragging a chain, pulling a chain, pushing a sled, dragging a sled, whatever. But I only did strength crawling as my strength training. Um, and so I just go through seasons. Now I did like 5 or 6 years ago. I did only sprint once or twice a week, and sometimes every other week. And honestly, that was probably because of my schedule, and or the weather. Um, but in the later years, now currently, I do sprint 2 to 3 times a week. Right now, as I'm recording this, I only sprint twice a week, again because of my schedule. But the reason I do it is because I just love it. To me, sprinting is the ultimate expression of our design. Like all the speed, all the power, all the fluidity, just the beauty and the grace. Like when we sprint as humans, that's when other animals are supposed to stop and be like, man, that is beautiful. You know how you stop and you look at a deer when it's, when you see a deer being a deer and it's just gorgeous? They should stop. Other animals should stop and look at us when we're doing what we should be doing, and it should be gorgeous to them. And for me, sprinting is that expression where the animal kingdom says, "Man, I wish I could do that." So, why do I trust it as much as weight training? Because we are designed to sprint, and it is our ultimate expression, right? And when we're sprinting, we're keeping our springs, our speed, our if we're tied together well, if we have spent time crawling and living in our design and breathing and moving the way we're supposed to, when we sprint, sprinting is a reset. It is good for your body. It's good for your brain. It keeps your body connected and very strong and healthy. So it's just such a wonderful design, and I don't want to lose that. Especially now, you asked me protocols for middle-aged men. It's wild. I'm 50 in like 2 weeks. I don't feel middle aged, but I would if I could not sprint. I don't want to lose the ability to sprint. I absolutely love it. And you want to talk about something that brings me joy? It brings me joy because, again, it is like the closest thing we can do to flying like Superman. So, so that's why I pay so much more attention to it now because I really appreciate it. And I mean, if I'm honest with myself, I'm not 30 anymore. I'm not 20 anymore. I can still run with a lot of 20 and 30-year-olds and smoke them. And I love that. But I don't want to lose it. So I'm sprinting now more to enjoy it and to savor it. Much like I was just talking about crawling every morning just for the pure sake of enjoyment. Sprinting brings me joy and it feels so wonderful. Now, protocols for somebody wanting to get started with sprinting. I'm a fan of like finding a hill to sprint up a hill, but also I'm a fan of let's establish a foundation first. Like live in your design, tie your body together, learn how to breathe, learn how to put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Like just the lowest things that just make such a solid foundation, right? And spend some time rolling and rocking and crawling. Tie your body, your X, tie it together, and then when you go out to sprint, try sprinting up a hill. It's almost hard to get hurt sprinting up a hill. I'm not saying you can. I'm just saying it's more difficult. But also be honest with yourself and start where you are. Like get a feel for it. So if you're just new to sprinting, and if you're middle aged or older than middle age, if you're 90 and you want to go out sprinting, get a feel for it first. If you're 90, briskly walk up a hill as fast as you can and then gradually walk back down. Do that a few times. Get your body ready. Do some A skips up the hill or just skip. Try to skip up the hill. Just try to get your shoulders and hips dancing together and then walk down. I like to skip up a hill 3 or 4 times before I start sprinting and do some other activities. But when it comes to actually sprinting itself, Brandon, 50%. And be honest with yourself and just run up the hill 50%, walk down. And if you don't have a hill, find you a nice grass field, sprint 50%, walk back. How far? 40 to 80 yards. If you're brand new to sprinting, 30 to 40 yards. 50% walk back, 50% walk back. I am a fan of do just enough to make you want to do more, but don't do more. so do 5 to 8 sprints. 50% walk back, 50% walk back. Do that for a couple of weeks and then start going 50 to 75 walk back, 50 to 75 walk back. This is not concrete, but pick 2 days a week. Give yourself 20 to 45 minutes to just get outside and get used to what it feels like to sprint. Don't be aggressive. Here's my other saying now. Be curious, but don't be aggressive. So if you honor your body, start where you are, and only go explore 50%, 50 to 75%, and you do that for a few weeks, then you can start exploring 75 to 95, 75 to 100%. So you just build your way up there, but you're patient. You do it over time. Like if you spent 2 to 4 weeks going at 50%, and then after that going 50 to 75, I think you would find that you could ease into sprinting and it just feel wonderful. And then I think you could kick it into high gear and whatever that is for you, and you would enjoy it, love it, and you could do it relatively injury free. Now I'm not saying you'll never get hurt sprinting, but the truth is people get hurt walking. So things happen, life happens, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to enjoy it, right? So again, if you just approach it from a curious nature, not an aggressive nature, with nothing to prove other than to feel and to learn and to explore and to just experience the joy of it, I think you're going to be just fine. I hope that makes sense. I know I was kind of all over the place like a sprinting squirrel, but that's just kind of, there's no hard rules other than honor your body, be curious, and just do it. Just get out there and do it. It doesn't have to last long, 30 to 45 minutes. Again, I think if you do that, take that approach, you're just going to absolutely fall in love with it. And it is possible that at least the neighborhood dogs will stop and watch you sprint and say, man, that looks so cool. All right, guys, that's it for this week. I hope that made sense. I hope that's helpful. If you're curious to go to Vegas in June or Japan in May, I'd love to see you there. And don't forget, if you want to learn more about Pressing Reset, the new book comes out in June, middle of June, and it will be available on Amazon and other fine bookstores everywhere. If they're all, I think all bookstores are online now. So other fine book retailing internet websites everywhere. All right, guys, I'm Tim with Original Strength, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Now go, press reset, and then get outside and play.